And Galaxy Racer is starting to target some of the mids. They take out the Kanka, which is a bit uncommon. In fact, if anything, I guess Makoto is kind of a fan of it. And meanwhile, Boom will continue targeting answers to their first two heroes. Now they take out the Juggernaut, which would have been a good egg hitter. Lina is still in the pool. It would be good against both the TB and the Phoenix.
Very true. They definitely could go down that route. I wouldn't quite blame them for it. I do kind of like John's kind of recommendation as well for that Invoker, but never mind that. We've got a Puck here now for the side of GXR, so forget the Invoker. Puck does seem pretty nice. Obviously, you're locking the TB, you're locking the Phoenix. So still a very powerful hero as well. Just it never feels like Puck is out of meta. Never. And there's a line now, so I guess you got the counter to the Puck.
Yeah, despite all of the nerfs that came in the C and D patch, it never really took Puck out of consistent viability. And I guess now these days we only see Puck in mid. It used to be somewhat flexed, now it's only mid. And Galaxy Racers will pair up their, I guess, upcoming carry pick with a Grimstroke.
10 seconds.
Yeah, it kind of lines up well for Galaxy Racer. They've got great Inkswell combos with the DK, the Puck jumping in, even Marana to a certain extent. Soulbind is pretty okay. It's not the best in this situation. Double Dragon Tails, all you really have to play with. What I am looking forward to is whether or not we see that Dark Portrait. I think a Dark Portrait for the Terrorblade is going to be really potent coming through here, and we know VXR tends to give that farm priority to their supports if they have something like that Grimstroke. So you have to kind of worry about that now from Boom. I mean, the line's a great response, but I don't think you can burst those illusions instantly. They're like hard illusions, if I recall right. So you're going to have to put in the effort to clear them out anyway. And
wait,
it's just something
you mean
to consider
the
in
conjure images
scaling.
from TB?
No, the Dark Portrait.
Oh yeah, that one's
from
yeah, you can't mana drain it. And they will pick up a Ember Spirit, which is actually kind of surprising against two leashes already, the Dream Coil and the Soulbind. They go for a Spirit hero.
That is pretty interesting. I know Makoto enjoys the hero. I do think it could be problematic. I guess you do have the chains now for the Puck, so you can kind of lock her down if you need to, which you definitely will. But I mean, the Dream Core is going to be very annoying. The Leash is going to be very annoying. There's already 2 silences. There's 4 types of stun. It's going to be hard to be mobile on this end of this game. In laning phase as well, I guess it does pretty well against the Puck, but I don't think the Puck suffers too much from the Ember pick, so I think it might just be a bit of a comfort pick here for Makoto. Maybe just feeling like he just wants to really just play a hero he really knows, and he has played it a lot, so I guess he should be feeling very confident on it.
Hopefully they ban out a Morphling then, because right now Morphling seems amazing. Being able to chain the Ember by replicating it to him, shotgun versus the Terrorblade. I don't really know if it's an in-your-dream hero. Throughout his DPC, I didn't really see him play it too much. He was mainly Mizu, but that was like when they were still figuring out who's the offlaner, I guess.
Yeah, it's been a while. It is one of his old specials from a long way back, so I wouldn't be surprised if GXR actually do pick it up. Boom. You can see they kind of ignored it, and Galaxy Racer are focusing on those FBZ heroes. So they need something on Boom's side to kind of tie in with the Phoenix, to kind of lack that big control to really get an effective egg. I suppose there's an option here for, say, an FBZ Tide if they want to go into it. We haven't seen too much Tide, but we've seen it in really impactful games. They come out, they go with the Legion Commander instead. They've got the Duel, they've got the Finger to play with. They do have ways of kind of playing around a bit faster from that offlane, at least with that pick.
They actually end up going for a Lifestealer, which is actually, I'm seeing surprisingly high success of Lifestealer versus Terrorblade. In my mind, every single time I'm like, oh, TB gets a Scotty, and it's like, life's over for Lifestealer, but I'm seeing more of these like Maelstrom pickups from Lifestealers, and they're able to go later game than I expect them to. That being said, though, I'm still kind of favoring all the control that Boom have. They have Duel, they have Chains, they have Lion, and I guess it's a good egg hitter from Lifestealer, but aside from that, getting to the egg seems kind of difficult.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, you have the Inkswell there for the added movement speed with the Shard, so you can kind of rush in with that, and you do have the Infest with the DK or the Puck, so that can also be quite effective to try and close the gap here for the Lifestealer. I think if In Your Dream can close those gaps against the TB, and he won't have too many issues kind of bursting him down, but it is going to be a difficult game. I don't think it's going to be that easy for this LS pick for In Your Dream. Pretty confident pick though. I'm very intrigued by it, but it makes me feel like we are probably going to go to a game 3 with the way these drafts have turned out.
You leaning that way too, John?
I'll play devil's advocate. I think Galaxy Racer has a draft they can play fairly quickly with. They don't have the longest cooldowns to wait for, so they can play that aggressive style we saw from Game 1. If they maintain that sort of pacing here, there might not be enough room for your Terrorblade to really get big, and your Ember as well. So as long as they play around that pacing on GXR, I think they should be able to kind of clean sweep this if they hit those timings.
I think Legion's criminally underrated, so I'm curious to see what she's going to be able to get up to in this game, but let's see. I would feel shortchanged if we don't get a 3-game series, so let's see how it all goes down with game number 2. MLP, and John, take it away.
Thank you, Tsunami. We are back, of course, for game number 2 between Boom, Esports, and GXR. Of course, Boom, 1 game away from being knocked out, so they need to pull off this game 2 victory to try and force it to a number 3, but GXR, on the other hand, pretty nice situation for him, John. 1 game away from getting to the next round of the lower bracket. And I know you were kind of leaning towards the GXR draft, and yes, you said you were playing devil's advocate. I know you like to make these little excuses before you do your predictions, but why do you like GXR's draft? John, I'm going to put you on the spot. I'm going to put some pressure on you.
I think it's just how Lifestealers play nowadays. There's so much potential for saving infests. We've seen that really turn around fights. As Tsunami said, the Terrorblade versus Lifestealer matchup isn't as bad as you'd expect. Like, it is awkward because your bonus damage is physical on the Lifestealer, so all that armor on the Terrorblade kind of slows that down. But once you get, say, your Maelstrom up into Mjolnir, maybe get an MKB as well, there is a lot of physical right-click to go through, and you don't have much downtime on the Lifestealer compared to Terrorblade. Like, we tend to see refresh and Aghanim having to be committed for the Terror Wave and Metamorphosis backup. And once you expend those towards the late game, it's like Lifestealer only really has to worry about rage usage, and that's not particularly too long of cooldown, especially once you get the rage duration talent in the end, if it does go ultra late. I think there's just more opportunities for a Lifestealer to be a menace compared to the Terrorblade, where you really have to time yourself around Metamorphosis, and once you kind of lose that momentum with that spell, if you don't manage to use it in a big fight, you can't easily commit for the buyback and turn things around.
Fair enough. We'll start off with the bot lane here. Dreamer's Soul going to be on that Terrorblade along with Kezcute on the Phoenix. You're going to be up against Joe Cam on that Pons for Mirana, and you've got Mizu on the DK. And John, that's one lane we've seen quite a lot of in the qualifiers, is this DK Mirana lane. Having that dual stun be very, very effective. And we've seen it against Phoenix very often, in fact. Generally, the Phoenix does end up being first blood to this combination. But I do feel like GXR have a very scary combo in this off lane. If you're Dreamer Soul or Kezcute, it's going to be a very dangerous time for you.
It doesn't feel great, especially since that's a good amount of magic damage from the Mirana. So you will have to watch that spacing. Really interesting build here, going for the reflection first on that Terrorblade. So maybe looking for more aggressive potential. No early Metamorphosis to shove out the wave, and just a bit different coming out from Dreamosol. Not sure what he really wants to achieve with that, but it has done a good job in zoning out Jokan.
It's just following the lore in the anime, John. Nothing too special here from Dreamosol. Mizu going to go for the stun, but the arrow was blocked by Kezcute. While we do have a chance, we should have a look at the other lanes, though. Of course, mid lane, got Makoto there on the Ember, up against Alacrity on the Puck. Makoto already having a really nice time on this Ember, in fact. Really just trying to harass Alacrity out on that Puck. And CS, I mean, it's pretty even. Makoto just one ahead. Do you expect any kind of advantage for either hero here in this mid lane?
It really boils down to who hits level 6 first. You already see Hyde kind of coming in, trying to contest the Water Rune, but just quicker fingers out from Electrical to Mizu.
I called it, John. Kezcute's gone down to the Phoenix. Mizu and Joe Cam do take him out, and I can almost guarantee it was that double stun combination. Why is it always the Phoenix? Every time.
Just so easy to get. Long cooldown spells in lane. Fire Spirit's only up on Kezcute. Can't even dive out if he's in danger. It's just a softer target to go for. You'd still want to line that up for Dreamosol if you get some good magic damage off. That is a possibility, but he is playing it rather safe, sticking by his creep wave. So not as open being jumped in. As soon as you get levels on Kescuto, especially his level 3 spike, those fire spirits will start to hurt Mizu, so you kind of have to maximize that DK Mirana combo as early as possible here.
We should have a look at the top lane as well. Of course, Hyde going to be there against Polison, and you've got In Your Dream and FBZ going at it. Pretty even between the two. LC is actually one of the better kind of cores to have against the Lifestealer. With that moment of courage, you can kind of just out-harass In Your Dream, especially as the at the earlier levels. But as the levels go up In Your Dream, he should have a much better time. I don't necessarily seeing them being able to really kill him on this Lifestealer per se in this laning phase, but they can at least make it a difficult time for him.
Yeah, they're trying to harass him out. You are getting more last hits onto FBZ. You're not quite getting the free farm you'd want here for IYD, which is going to slow down his pace. Hyde's just been doing a great job in being disruptive with these pulls from Paulson, putting FBZ in the position where he can clear out the wave, still get his EXP, get his farm, and that's all you really kind of want to look for. Fast levels on that Legion Commander, maybe some stacks in the jungle to help you get your blink timing down the line, and you're pretty much set. So a slower lane there doesn't hurt either side, might benefit Boom slightly more, but as a Lifestealer, you kind of don't care as well, though Paulson's chasing deep here.
A bit of a chase onto Hyde, got the Stroke of Fate, does get the kill and tips her out. Paulson feeling very confident with himself in this Grimstroke. Nothing really special happening either, John. He just chased him with the Inkswell. Ends up getting the kill.
Yeah, I love seeing that. You don't tend to see supports commit all the way for these deep chases, but with a Lifestealer, you can leave him alone. There's no kill threat from the LC when that support's gone, so you've got all the room in the world to just keep trading hits with that support, and you kind of win out early on. The magic damage coming through from the Grimstroke's a bit too much, and you're kind of happy. 2-0 already for GXR, less than 1k lead. Other lanes going rather evenly for the most part. Not a huge CS advantage for either side, but the kills are definitely helping your heroes on GXR hit their EXP spikes and get some early item spikes as well.
Top lane, Ollison going to be in a spot of danger. He'll throw the Inkswell out onto In Your Dream and be a nice kind of defensive Inkswell on In Your Dream so he can get himself out on that Grimstroke. Nice little play. Plus In Your Dream though, he's taking a fair bit of damage out from Hyde and FBZ. It kind of goes back to the LC. High armor hero. Happy to trade hits with the Lifestealer's mid lane. Alacrity. Does drop Makoto. He's taken down the Ember. A bit of damage for the tower, but it won't really matter. He's out of there. Or does it? Jokab, Starfall is there, but it's only level 1. He's got an arrow in 3 seconds. He can land it somehow. Kodo still running, arrow off the mark, nice little sidestep, the Stroke of Fate, not going to land either, and we found the arrow. It did end up hitting Hyde in the face, but he'll be fine as well.
It's just down to that level 6 timing in that mid. Mikato grabs it right before Alacrity can, so he didn't have a counterplay with Dream Coil. Mikato realizes that advantage and pushes it, so just heads up play for Mikato. Alacrity caught a bit off guard, has to be careful about the burst damage coming through from the Ember now, but of course, with his own level 6 up, he could look for a rotation. Leaving that mid lane, Dream Coil at the ready, could look for a movement down towards bot.
Dream Missile just getting into that tree line now, keeping himself away. Actually, top lane. In Your Dream taking a substantial amount of damage there from FBZ and Hyde. There's a lot happening across the map in both side lanes. Those heroes at the bot lane as well, they did end up getting scanned out by Boom Esports, so Dream Missile is very well aware they've been around. He does leave the area. Execute now. Icarus dives out on the Phoenix. Paulson trying to catch him out with the silence, but doesn't quite get it off in time. Still going to be able to get that bottom tier 1 tower though, and that's really all you want anyway if you're GXR. That was an interesting TP though. Kescute, he TP back to the tier 1 tower, and now he's been stunned up. The Inkswell comes out. He cannot Icarus dive away from there, and he is going to drop. I believe he may have misclicked the minimap.
Yeah, that was a bit optimistic right into the lane. Instant silence out from Paulson. Easy setup. Really quick push from GXR. Kind of reminiscent of Game 1 with Urlesh, just pushing that advantage for the DK. We're not going to see the same commitment from Boom. It's not like you want to drag Dream Missile up top at this point to really trade towers just yet, and they'd rather he farm up. So it's going to be slower in the tower trade. FBZ is doing a good job of just applying constant pressure top though. In Your Dream doesn't really have anywhere else to go just yet. So he's forced to sit here by himself, always at risk of the chain stuns coming through and the threat of a duel. But without any sort of mid-rotation from Boom themselves as well, means that it's just kind of even, just slower farm for the Lifestealer. The one advantage for Boom is that I guess your Terrorblade's getting a bit more from that bot jungle.
There's a coil. They've got the big one. They leash him down long enough. Silence about to wear off, but the Inkswell does land. Arrow to follow up. Do you have enough damage though, Makoto? He's still alive. He'll remnant away to the left. He'll go up to the high ground as well. They have caught the Phoenix instead, but is it gonna matter? Lorana leaping forward, but she won't have the damage. Makoto gonna be able to survive. They get Ken's Cube, but they'll throw Jokan's life away for that. A pretty decent trade here for Boom. Mizu, he won't mind. He'll get started on the mid-tier 1 tower anyway. Wants to get that pressure going. You've still got Hyde around. You've got a reset there for Makoto thanks to Kenskute. He won't be able to continue this mid-tier 1 push.
But you see the movements lining up from GXR immediately. When Dragon forms back up, Mizu's already mid, looking for that next objective. Just very well-timed movement from GXR to get these early advantages out as they can. Lots of commitment from Boom to save that mid tower. They understand how important it is to secure their own jungle for their Terrorblade, and to do that, they need control from mid, so they're holding on to it. It does give the top lane a very free time with no Ember rotations out. There's no threat to In Your Dream, so he's allowed to just sit here and farm. Same thing for FBZ. Both these cores just having a grand old time farming very close to each other, but our Lifestealer is sort of lagging a bit behind. At least doing better than Dreamocell is. Like, he's just playing the jungle, his pacing isn't as quick, and it's always back down to the fact that Metamorphosis is your big farm accelerator, so it's not going to be as up as a Lifestealer, so it's going to go in bursts. Still, for Boom side, they're finally looking to commit up top. Mikado makes his way up there. Could look to make that little play happen.
Yeah, Paulison. Currently hidden, not being really scouted out by Hyde. They're going to try and wrap around and get this kill. Slide of Fist, it does connect on Paulison, but he's getting real deep into that tree line and they'll go for the TP up. He will not be able to catch him in time. GXR, they'll probably be more than happy to let this top tier 1 tower go, especially because they can pressure the mid tier 1. It's much more worthwhile getting the mid tier 1 tower over the top tier 1. They're going to commit to it. That'll give GXR enough information, I believe, to start the pressure up. And we go, Mizu. We'll rotate in with the Dragon form now. You've got the siege creep. Meanwhile, top lane, a bit of a defense coming out. GXR, they're moving forward and the coil's out. They have got FBZ. He will try to survive and fight through this. In fact, he's doing a lot of damage. The Infest gonna save the day. He will try to get himself out. Makoto does finish off the kill. The Slide of Fist will be enough and they will remnant out. FBZ is very close to dying. They'll survive for another day. But John, in the meantime, at mid-tier 1, it did end up dropping.
That's a much better trade for GXR. Sure, you lose your puck, but you're starting to deny out this area where the Terrorblade's farming. It's easier for you to just take complete control of the bot jungle, and Mizu's doing a good job of just clearing it out. They could look to reset and defend top once more from GXR, but they don't have Dream Coil. There's an egg available on Boom. They've got pretty much your entire team minus the Terrorblade up here to get this objective. So it's going to be a bit too late to move in now. Just kind of settle for the jungle farm and accept the power trade comes true. Good gold injection for Boom. Opens up the forward top jungle for a little bit of farm. Not really the best position for Dreamocell to keep farming though. He's still emphasizing the bot lane, sticking to that bot jungle. No one's really stopping him. So in the end, Boom is sort of satisfied with this. Like, your Terrorblade's not being pressured, not being chased down by the puck or the Mirana DK. And in that sense, you're still building up towards your win condition here.
They're going to try and keep up.
Oh,
Dreamocell still
FBZ.
just farming the jungle at top lane. FBZ's been caught out by the arrow. He's going to try and make a run. But no, Mizu's got him. Hyde was trying to make his way up to help out. Now he's going to get out before he gets scouted. Looks like he is going to be fine. Still a very nice kill for GXR. And I'm going to say FBZ, he does tend to get caught out in that position quite a bit. I suppose it is still buying a lot of space for the other cores.
And all the emphasis is really on getting Dreamocell up, and to a certain extent Mikado. There is a smoke coming through from Boom, just on Execute and Mikado. They do still have the egg waiting, so they could look to make a play. TP's going up top. FBZ's got his Blink Duel ready.
You jump on though. Mizu, he's a bit of a tanky target. Joe Cam's around to help out as well, and FBZ, he's not going to be able to make the jump in. He'll reveal the blink. Now GXR to just back out of there for now. You can't forget in your dream, he's still kind of neck and neck in terms of farm with Dreamer Cell. Still a very even game between these position ones. You just got to kind of wonder who really... Oh, hello, a Dagon. And against the TB though, it makes sense.
It does. You just don't see it too often, but it looks like Alacrity's going to look for that opportunity to use it soon. Moonlight expended. Faults on Alacrity up front.
Going on. Mid lane. Press the attack is there. They want the puck. The Moonlight Shadow is out, but the Sentry Ward has been dropped, and there's your duel out now. Just lock him in place and take him down with the finger. And the Sleight of Fist from Makoto. Very nice setup for the side of Boom Esports. Very unfortunate. GXR. That was the Dagon being revealed for our puck. There's now a chain down. Makoto, he found another. Ollison. Try and get out as Mizu jumps in your dream. He's there with the Infest. Guess who's going to drop? Makoto. He should be able to just remnant out of this, but he's going to try and make it a bit more of a mission for In Your Dream. As the breast, well, Mizu, he's trying to get the stun off. He'll avoid Makoto, though. 1-for-1 trade it was. It's like both teams will have to accept it and just get out.
A lot better for Boom, taking out that puck. Really unfortunate for the side of GXR. They didn't expect a mid lane sentry randomly between where the tier 2 and tier 1 are. They just got caught off guard, get stunned up, follow up forward to ensure they get the kills. And they kind of underestimate the information game of Boom. They know what's going to happen with Marana on the opposing side.
Very close. One of that stun off onto Makoto, but Makoto is very quick with the remnant out. That's one of the things we talked about in the draft as well, right? Like Makoto, he's meant to be having a tough time against the draft of GXR, but for now, he hasn't died once. I can't remember even seeing him being caught out, to be honest. Speaking of caught out, and on Hyde, Mizu gonna blink right into him. X is there, Earth Spike. Buy some more time as Hyde will try for the TP, but the coil was out of time as well. Alacrity, the vision, Mizu with the ink swirl and the Dagon out, just for good measure.
For my coffers.
It's a small little kill, not the biggest. This is going to delay that blink timing from Reliant just a bit. But in the end, Boom is still farming really nice on Dream Assault, so all the attention's taken away from Terrorblade. Triangle, it's not warded up offensively by GXR. Can't really track that, and you blink forward.
Yeah, nice blink in. FBZ, he found a jewel. Dokam farming very far forward. Tried to leap away, but it was already too late. FBZ, he'd got him.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
So, Boom. It's just such an even game between these two. There is still a 2k net worth lead for the side of GXR. You look at Dream Assault's farm, it is escalating at a rapid pace. Excuse me. That's going to be quite problematic for GXR if this keeps up.
He's got the Dragon Lance up, Yasha up, going to the S and Y. Not too far off until that additional stat resist, additional HP is online for him. That's going to help him stand and fight, maybe start to commit and join in for some of these Metamorphosis fights. I like how In Your Dream's itemizing though. He gets the Sanj, he's got the armlet on, the Life Stealer, he's immediately rushing to Satanic. So he just wants to have that self-dispel on hand to pop his rage, and from there you just run around, stand in the middle, you don't care about anything at all, except for, I guess, the egg popping if you're in a bad spot. But overall that should give our Life Stealer a lot of room to really fight, and even the build-up here on Mizu, rushing to BKB right after the blink, just allowing for more offensive movements once these items are up. It's just a matter of patience for GXR. They want to play faster, sure. They've gotten a lineup that probably plays better early, but they still need some of these items to be up first.
Chains out from Makoto. He's caught 2 there, but won't last too long. Just level 2 chains there on the Ember.
Bottom tower is under attack.
I want to go down south. They saw Hyde for a second on that line, and there's your Moonlight Shadow. They really want that lion dead. They will get the vision. He does get the Earth Spike, but it won't matter. Get one. chance of Boom. They were moving in to try and help out, but we'll have to let him go. I think they'll mind it too much. Just the line dying just means you really can't go in for a smoke or a team fight, but we back up in 14 seconds anyway. Big of a deal.
And if you're GXR right now, this is really hurting you. You're not finding the big kills you need. You're not jumping the Ember with immediate Dragon Tail stun. You're not catching out the Terrorblade while he's in jungle. So these kills aren't really amounting to much. Like, you commit Moonlight, it's a fairly long cooldown at this point at 140 seconds. And then after that, you're just kind of sitting around where Boom worked the map a lot better. Mikato can jump across lanes to get that farm a lot safer by virtue of being an Ember. And they still have no clue where Dream Assault's playing. He is under a ward now. He did show up top. But no one's really in position to punish him for being up there.
Wallison. He's going to get reflected on. Meta popped immediately. Dream Assault not playing any games. Nice little kill. Back to farming for him. It's a bit more of a farm game than game one was, which is perfectly fine considering the cause you do have up. Kind of wonder at what point both teams just kind of group up as 5 and run at each other, but it does feel like it's probably going to be another 5 minutes before we start seeing those big team fights.
Yeah, they're just taking it slow. I think even looking at the item buildup on a Alton right there, he's rushing the Ags. I think they understand that they want to take it a bit slow. They want to go towards the late game. So you might as well start saving up for the Dark Portrait to be on hand. You know, start to flow in that Terrorblade when he does show up. GXR are smoked up, though. That was not spotted by Ward.
Zeus had his smoke broken immediately. They're going to pop the Dragon Form, move in onto FPZ. They've got the ulti and a very nice call out. Alacrity, he found 2 on the hide. Sans is there. He cannot survive it. Mikoto, he's trying to fight back, but he cannot finish off No Cam. They'll drop the egg as well, but they should be able to burst this egg down in time. Just fine for the side of GXR, and they will. However, they've lost Paulison, but it won't matter because they're on to Mikoto now. A nice Sunder out to try and help out, but the stuns are there. They'll get the Ember down to Bird. A 4-for-1 trade for GXR. They are just moving so well across the map, John. They're just moving at a different level right now.
Yeah, they finally find that rotation they were looking for. I think they really needed the smoke committal. A lot of the earlier fights we were seeing was just purely Moonlight Shadow, and the Sentry game coming out from Boom was just a bit too strong. So with the added protection of that smoke, they finally find the approach angle they need. Managed to catch out the big targets they want early on. Killing off Hyde before you can really get impact on that line opened up the possibilities there for GXR to counterfight. And you're just seeing the effect of the Lifestealer, right? Like, he infests the DK. DK doesn't die. He regens back up. They run back in. They get the control. They get the damage off. Without access to that burst damage on Boom, without the committal from Dreamwhistle to truly join these fights, you're not going to have enough to rip through these high HP, high armor heroes early on.
Certainly not. Very problematic scenario here for Boom Esports. 5k net worth lead now for GXR. I highly doubt they go in for a Roshan or anything like that, but they could certainly try if they wish. It is just going to be a little bit too early for that Roshan, as you haven't got the draft to get the damage output out in time. Probably just back off, keep securing that farm. You know, although they are 5k ahead, In Your Dream is currently just about 2k behind. In fact, I say 2k, just about 1k behind the Terrorblade. You'd like to kind of close that gap if you are this Lifestealer. Just trying to ensure that you can contest him throughout that late game. So it does kind of go back to the fact that you are going to have that ink portrait from Paulison really hurting you once you get that Terrorblade illusion in that Metamorphosis. Should be a lot of fun to watch.
Be pretty painful once it's up. I believe we're only lacking one part here, or 2 parts, so it's still about 1.5k off. But slow and steady is the pacing here for GXR. They've got a little bit more control on the map. I have to say, Boom's wards, again, their sentries have been on point. Their obs wards have been on point as well. They're watching the Roche pit just in case. They've got good coverage of their triangle. They're keeping watch in that top lane as well, in case someone rotates out while they're shoving it out. So it's just really all about keeping Dream of Self safe as to where he'd be. But GXR, every time Moonlight Shadow is off cooldown, they just use it and go hunting again.
There you go. Moonlight Shadow. Over to the mid lane. There is a sentry there to kind of protect the side of Boom. Smoke is also committed though, and this is going to make it a little bit harder as they do move in from the backside. Makoto, he hasn't seen them yet. He doesn't know, but a quick reaction out with the Remnant. Still, they do find Hyde. They might even go onto Kezcute. The Phoenix trapped up in that Dream Coil. Are they going to be able to help him out? The TP will be enough from Dreamer Soul. The reflection is there. Odo looking to come back in. Does get the chains out on our puck. He's going to be able to orb away. Ollison, Jewel catches out the Grimstroke. A very nice Jewel. Is it going to be enough? Yeah, it certainly will. It looks like GXR do not want to fight into that high ground now. They want to back off, or maybe not. It's a fake back. They're going back in. Mizu onto Makoto. He's so darn low. But Dreamer Soul, he'll stand his ground like an absolute Giga Chad. Protect his friends, and they will be all right. They'll get themselves out. GXR looking for a way back in. They get Alacrity, who tried to sneak through the backside. He ends up getting punished by Hyde. It was a really rough start to that team fight, but in the end it does pan out for them.
They can't afford to lose Alton that early. They need the Grimstroke up to get the Soul Bind off, which is another piece of control for catching that Ember out. They need the Phantom's Embrace for the silence. They need the Inkswell to save. And if they run up with those options, it's awkward, but they smoke up. They know that Metamorphosis doesn't have much left.
Oh, Dreamer Soul, you don't want to lose this guy right now. He has the Sunder. Press the attack going to come in. Reflection is there. Soulbind will also be committed, but Dreamer Soul again, he's just man fighting this. He's not afraid. He wants to just go for the fight, but he is going to pay for it. He does go down. Hyde, FBZ, they all need to run. Get the hell out of there. That is a very big kill for the side of GXR. Boom, that's the one target. That's the one hero they do not want to lose like that.
Yeah, just overly confident from Boom. They did not have Metamorphosis up. They didn't have the BKB popped as well from Dreamer Soul there, so he was heavily punished for it. And it's back to that saving Infest. Mizu drops low, Infest, come back out. You're perfectly fine as a strength hero. And they just get a better trade. I think you lost your puck earlier on, sure. You lost your Grimstroke, not a big deal. You get the Terrorblade, who is the one here that you've put all your farm on. And if they manage to do that again, it could be a bit awkward for Boom. Now, there's not enough damage to really clear that top tower. Dragon farm down for a bit too long. Doesn't mean that they're not going to lose an objective. Just one really big win for Boom is that helps them keep control in that triangle, build up the stacks, keep trying to build up on that Terrorblade. But GXR, I mean, they've got Moonlight off if they want to try again, and we know how they play. They love just constantly keeping that aggression. But Boom are going to go first. They've got the smoke.
Take on the Arcane Rune. Mizu blinking out very fast. Both teams clearly having their mate this morning, John. Quick reactions. They check the Roshan. Arrow can be taken by the Roshan. Boom obviously not committing for it right now. Let this one go, and meanwhile, you look back at it in your dream, John, he's got that Satanic up now. Things are getting much more difficult in terms of trying to deal with this Lifestealer.
Yeah, it's, that self-discipline is just so big. Paulson gets caught out, though.
Ollison goes the other way. Makoto, he's going to find him, but the Earth Spike, that's what they needed. Makoto, he did have the chains on cooldown. Won't matter in the end. Can you really get anything out of this, though, or is it just a bit of space again for Boom?
Just space. It's just one of those small pickoffs. It's like when GXR kills off Hyde. Not the biggest deal. You can't really transition to an objective. You could look for a bigger team fight, though. Again, Grimstroke is a lot of control of GXR here.
They go. They found a big target. Davion has been caught and challenged to a duel, and it looks like he is going to drop. Boom Esports into the mid-tier 1 tower, and this should open up the Roshan for them. They've already popped the meta. Alacrity now. The Moonlight Shadow going to wrap around through the backside. He wants to go after the Phoenix, and they blow him up. Kezcute's gone. Hyde falling very, very low and does drop as well. But now Dreamer Cell, he'll get to work. Who do you want to target, though? In your dream, he's just going to run away. Dreamer Cell will keep up the chase, but they can't lock anyone down. Roshan for Boom quite yet. They will have to back to their side of the map.
That's a smart play from GXR, taking out the 2 supports, ensuring that the Hex and Earth Spike's not going to be an issue, ensuring that the Egg is not going to go off in that tight quarters, and just kind of buying themselves space. So they trade their DK for that. On paper, it's a little bit better for Boom. but this does prevent Boom from getting anything off the map. Yeah, they find a tier 1 mid, they can't take that Roche opportunity. The GXR gets to wait for their DK to respawn. They do not have Moonlight Shadow on that respawn, but they can still kind of sit back, still build up. The Ags for Paulson is it done? Yes, it's done. It's flying out, so Dark Portrait is there. The game has gone slow enough that you're going to see that terribly play against himself at some point.
Scariest thing in the world, John, the man in the mirror. Paulson, unfortunately, is going to be holding up that mirror here, up against Dream Assault. See how it does pan out, but it's going to be so much damage, especially in that Metamorphosis. Boom. Unsuspecting right now, they haven't seen it. Or even the Aghanim Scepter now on our DK, Mizu. He's got the Black Dragon up. Scary, scary stuff. Meanwhile, Dream Assault, he is working towards that Eye of Skadi. He does get very close, but the Roshan's been started. In Your Dream is not going to give away the time for Boom to get that Eye of Skadi up. Slowly starts chipping away at that Roshan. Kodo.
Gordo just sees them all. They know the rush is happening, they know the position.
Check out, the Infest is there, Mizu. He's looking for a jump in.
Dire's structures.
Dream Assault still showing at the bot lane, trying to go after that bottom tier 1 tower, so they know the TB's not around.
Tower is under attack.
Now gonna back off, they're gonna play it safe. The problem being, Boom Esports, they have bought time for Dream Assault to finish off that Eye of Skadi. However, Dream Assault, he got spotted there for a second. By Alacrity, but it is only gonna be Alacrity. They won't make the jump in.
Is under attack.
This hurts GXR a little bit more. They are not really able to farm up. That space for Boom, as mentioned, gets that Skadi up, more stats, nice healing reduction, which makes it hellish for Lifestealer to trade for very long. So they've got a big tool on hand now for Boom. GXR still wants to reveal these Ags, though. You just need to find that opportunity. Boom is just using the map information really well. Just posturing around Roshan. Both sides know that they're right by the pit, although Dream Assault just dips in.
Lily, why not just walk your way in, Dream Assault? Oh, they do start FBZ. He's been the one caught out. They want to get rid of the LC, and it looks like FBZ, he is going to drop his Alacrity. A great Dream call on the backside. He's already got both supports. Dream Assault, he's left alone to fight. They can't really help him out. They'll go on to Makoto instead, though. They'll leave the TB for now. Meanwhile, Dream Assault still trying to go after Mizu. They're trying to burst the DK down, but Davion, he's way too tanky. They'll drop the egg in Your Dream. He takes it out. Makoto's still trying. He'll find Jocam. They do get the DK in the end. They find more. Oh, that's a great Earth Spike from Hyde. Amazing timing. And Boom Esports still in position after those buybacks to try and go for this Roshan, but they're moving in again. Hyde, he may have given his life away for this, but they do kill Paulson. Back into the Roshan pit. You've only got In Your Dream up to try and contest this. He's not going to bother either. Back to farming for him. He knows he can't do it on his own. Boom, they get something to go their way.
They really split that fight up on GXR's end. Like, they immediately jumped Dream Assault, but they transitioned to the supports to kill off first, forced the buybacks, but that meant that they missed their window to burst the Terrorblade. So he just had full use of his Metamorphosis, lots of damage flying out. We didn't really get to see the best Dark Portrait usage as well, as they were chasing elsewhere. So Boom's got this nice safety net on hand. Ages for 5 minutes. Net worth lead down to 1k for GXR. The farm distribution of Boom isn't that even, though. All of their goals really just riding on that Terrorblade. They have to ensure that every engagement they take going forward, Dream Assault has to be around. He has to make use of that farm advantage for the team. They've kind of sacked Mikado's farm and really sacked FBZ's farm to get to that point. And looks like they do know that they've got a nice come around here. Start grouping up. The egg is about 20 seconds off, finger is about a minute. So you could at least play with the egg. If you wanted to make something happen with the Aegis, maybe start eyeing some tier 2s to push down with Metamorphosis coming back up. For GXR's end, In Your Dream's pretty close to his own Skadi now. That could be something you just wait out for. Dagon up to level 3 for Alacrity. I think he's really going to need Dagon 5 to get that instant burst that he needs to clear out some of these heroes at this point in the game. And that's just going to take a little bit more time. So the slower pace doesn't necessarily hurt GXR as well. they're also finding these item spikes while the game slows down.
I think that AC on In Your Dream is going to be very important as well in that lifestealer. Just being able to tank up a bit more, get your team a bit more tanked up against all this physical damage. Well, Dream Assault proving to be a real nuisance now on that TB. 4k ahead of In Your Dream. The Moonlight Shadow to be popped. Their way over with the top lane GXR. Best is there on Alacrity. You always want to go into those back lines, so you need to find the line first. FBZ gonna back off away from the arrow, but they found them. They've got high on the line. The orb moving the way of Boom. Dreamer Soul, he's BKB TP'd out. FBZ, he has not been scouted. He will. Oh, wait a minute. Ollison? Close. They had the right idea.
On the edge, they do find that objective though. The tier 2 tower gone. A little bit more potential to rotate around the top jungle if they want to. They don't really take the outpost though, so it doesn't feel as amazing mutually denying that area away. And GXR, they get a pick off again, not the most substantial when you kill off the lion at this point, but it's still a consolation prize. They did pop Dream Coil for that, along with the Elder Dragon form. You're not going to have these spells by the time the next engagement's out, and Boom could look to use that to their advantage. Starting to walk in that top jungle. Metamorphosis is ready from Dream himself. He does run into someone, and just going to be able to take out the outpost. So Roche Axe is going to be cut off, but Roche is still a long ways off, so you could still go for recapture at some point. MKB is up and running on Dreamocell. His damage is going to skyrocket. Not going to care too much about the armor as he gets the procs up, and that slight evasion on our Lifestealer, not going to be an issue as well. In fact, In Your Dream didn't even bother for that talent anyway, so not really counteracting anything yet. But I suppose the damage coming through is nice, and there is a smoke from Boom now.
Absolutely, they want to fight with this power spike. Dreamer Soul, he's going to try and bait in the side of GXR. GXR is very patient, waiting for that right moment. They know Dreamer Soul has his team right behind him. You've got to find those back lines first. The arrow scouts out. See anyone though. Dreamer Soul getting a fair bit of damage off onto that tier 2. In Your Dream gonna try and ward him off here with the Lifestealer, but Dreamer Soul gonna go in and just kind of whack him a little bit. That tier 2 tower not gonna survive, it looks like, as it does drop. Mizu, Reflection is gonna be there. They found out the DK. Don't make the jump in, but he'll force the BKB out. Dreamer Soul, he's got the meta. GXR, they're not going to want to fight when that meta's up. They'll walk away at the cost of their mid-tier 2 tower, but they definitely can't fight right now.
Gotta be a bit patient. You don't really find the angle. Very good positioning from Boom to play on the opposite side of the lane. Not giving any openings out to GXR. GXR, for their part, they're hitting some big spikes. Dagon 5 fully done on Alacrity, so full burst potential on hand. And he has a ceremonial robe. This is just a bit of a cherry on top. That magic resist down should be a nice little boon for the burst damage he's looking to pull out. On the side of Boom now, with pretty much all outer towers except one gone on the side of GXR, they can just go back to controlling this map. They still don't have that network advantage, still leaning towards GXR, and the Aegis does expire, so they don't have that safety net. They've got good control onto the Roche Pit, good control on the top jungle. There's not too much room for GXR to roam around individually. They're going to have to stick together as a team, and they do smoke up right now.
Try. It's all about the right jump, it seems like, for GXR, where Boom, they don't really need the right jump. They just kind of need the team fight to start. They seem to be aware that they are around as Makoto, he does break the smoke. Will they move forward through the triangle? GXR trying to find a target, but Boom, very nice movement. Back into the dire jungle. They are not making it easy for GXR to start the fight, so instead they'll go after the mid-tier 2 tower. And of course, with this Aghanim Scepter DK, they do take it quite fast on top of the Lifestealer damage. They'll get the tier 2 mid, but Boom Esports, they're going to go high ground. They'll force a tier 3 tower.
The defense coming out from GXR is a bit slow. They TP'd all over the map. They're going to have to walk up here, although...
Alacrity, oh, that's a lot of damage out. They got the silence to press the attack. Gonna purge off the silence. It is a level 5 Dagon on Alacrity, which explains the damages. Woo! Guess cute. That's the ink portrait. the ink portrait of the TV.
Oh, that's
Just
disgusting.
running through the jungle right now, trying to find the lion. Hide. Do not go near that thing, sir. Does wear off. Yeah. I mean, that's one way to do it, right? You get the ink portrait. You try to find a straggler. Just take him down.
Yeah, it feels pretty nice for GXR. They save their high ground for now. They've got Moonlight. They're outside of base. They can go hunting a bit. They've got Dark Portrait off cooldown again. Why does this thing give 150% outgoing damage? Why does it get 50% bonus? Why?
What do you mean, John? It'd be unbalanced if it was only 100, right?
Dire's
Too weak.
top tower is
No one
under
pick it
Yeah,
up.
absolutely. Absolutely. Give it 150, but why not 200%?
You're right, Mike. What a visionary. You should be balancing to it.
You never know, John. I might be. Hide FBZ. They're in the jungle right now, waiting to initiate. Mollison. Blink out. So many quick reactions in this game, it feels like. Everyone's just blinking everywhere. Could be a smoke again from GXR. They're grouped up by that tier 3 tower. No smokes available. They're just going to make sure they go as a team. Roshan up in a minute as well.
A fairly short respawn. Of course, a double damage on hand here for Boom as well to take that next fight, as is balanced. Ags up in Mikado, which means that the Remnant spam is online. Much more impactful and much zippier. So harder to catch down, as GXR is still looking to force it outside. They're still playing outside. They're not too scared to just hide in the high ground, which is good, because they're going to need to engage for that next Roshan. You don't want to give that second Rosh away. Way too many goodies in Roshan's belly, and you wouldn't want to deal with an Aegis once more on Dream Assault. He's already got the Satanic up as well for the self-dispel, so it's already harder to lock him in, and it's starting to become a case of, alright, the Terrorblade's the only guy who's really hyper-farmed, but are you as a team on GXR good enough to kind of counteract this one hyper carry on Boom side? It's all going to go down to execution here.
Ben, they found the Mirana. Dokam gonna just leap out as now the Soulbind's there. Mizu, he got the double stun off to press the attack. Gonna purge that off. Still leashed up. Makoto, he needs to remnant out. He didn't remnant far enough, but he will get out in the end. Just barely on 200 HP. Dangerous stuff here. Luckily, you have FBZ behind with the press the attack and the shards. Just kind of purge off the stun of the DK. They're going to get started on this Roshan, it seems. Double damage activated, Dream Assault. It's not really going to take him too long to finish this off. GXR, if they wish to fight this, they need to react very quickly. They scouted out with the arrow, but it's too late. Surely it's too late. They're trying, but there's no chance. It's already gone down, Dream Assault. He'll get the shards, he'll get the Aegis. Does he keep the shards, though?
Could. I think the Zeal is pretty alright. It's a 14-second cooldown for buff it provides. The HP drop could look painful, but I think with press the attack, you're going to compensate for that relatively quick. And it gives him something to do when he's stuck in melee. Like, he's not super useless running around. That added move speed will help him out by a fair bit. I wouldn't mind it too much, but he's just holding it all for now. He does hand it off anyway.
There's that meta pop. They want to try and get this tier 3 tower down ASAP. See, with the Aegis up, they're feeling very confident at the moment, but there's your jump in. Mizu, he has the Inkswell as well, but to press the attack again. To save the day's Dream Assault now. He needs to be slightly careful. It's a lot of damage. And in your dream, with the Heaven's Halberd, he takes him out.
God.
The Aegis gone in your dream. Getting back toward Dream Assault. He has no mana. He needs to run. He'll BKB and just try to get himself out of there. There's no turn off the Davion. Duel him up. Finger him down.
No buyback?
We'll get one. No buyback on Mizu. Go back high ground. Small down on Alacrity. Will not make the jump in. They lose the T3 tower. At least for now, but that's going to be about it. Boom. They will not go any further.
And that's the one awkward thing with the Terrorblade. If you don't have the refresh, you die with Metamorphosis up, even with the Aegis. You can't really do anything with that second life. So they're forced to back off. No egg as well, although that cooldown isn't too painful compared to Metamorphosis. But GXR have given themselves some breathing room. That's a really aggressive dive forward coming out from Mizu. Just all the way up front. All the egg was running. Nice punishment out from Boom. But they can't really progress on that lane. At the least, if a wave shoves in, someone from GXR will have to respond. And they do manage to finally take the network lead here on Boom. 2K up on their side. 16-23 at 42 minutes in. Starting to look like a bit of a longer game shaping up here. GXR, their lineup towards late game, it still has some possibilities, yes, but it isn't as scary as the Terrorblade. So I think once Dreamwhistle finishes up the Swift Blink, maybe starts thinking about the backpack refresher we tend to see, maybe start considering the Aghanim's as well for additional Metamorphosis opportunities. Once you reach that point, your windows for success on GXR feel a lot narrower. You're going to have to figure something out soon, as the game doesn't get any easier for GXR as it goes late.
That it doesn't. Still the AC yet to come up on In Your Dream. Mizu working towards a nullifier. Interesting stuff. Dream Assault still going for that Swift Blink on the TB. Pretty standard though. Just that very, very kind of late game blink, and there you go. He does buy it out now. They have the meta back up. They might want to go for a smoke and they'll commit. Right behind Makoto, through the mid lane they go. EXR, they'll be ready for this. Stay on their high ground. So they don't give any kind of lives away. This will allow Boom to kind of just take over the map. Not really any objectives to take right now, but maybe they could slowly start chipping away at that top Brax again.
Radiant are
Try, but they are being rather hesitant. Scans out as well. Does obviously scan out someone on GXR, but they give enough information for Boom, and well, looks like they are going to back off. They have not found the opening.
Yep, very safe play from GXR, not giving any of that opportunity out. Just playing as a team, sticking to the high ground, waiting for an opportunity to dip out. And they do smoke up now. I have to point out this on Alacrity. He's got the Octarine plus the Spell Prism. So very low cooldowns on all his items and all his spells. A 9-second Dagon 5. That sounds like it's going to be potent in these rather long engagements. As they do Moonlight on top of that smoke, they're going to go hunting now.
9-second Dagon 5. What a fun way to have that item. They jump in. Oh, they found the big one, but again, the press the attack gonna save the day. Still the blow-up cascade on the Phoenix. They're on to FBZ. Still, they will lose Paulison. Dokam dropping low, but Dreamer Soul. He's trying to man-fight In Your Dream.
Oh my God.
The fight of the Giga Chats. Who's gonna win this one out? They both back off as Dreamer Soul has fallen very low, but he'll get the Sunder off onto FBZ. Onto the DK. Davion has been caught out. The finger is there. They burst him down. 2 down for the side of GXR, and they are not committing these buybacks. Time to go high ground for Boom and try to force these buybacks out from GXR now.
The issue here is that they don't have much time in Metamorphosis. It's not going to last too long. They can still look to try and push, but I think our puck can kind of wave clear that quite nicely from safe distance, especially with how spammable the spells are. So without meta up, it's a slower process. They've got the glyph, they can clone up the Terrorblade, fight back, and that should buy enough time for at least Miranda to come in. Although,
well, it was on the Ink Portrait, still Dreamer Soul In Your Dream at it again, but Mikoto trying to go right into the back lines onto Alacrity. Won't be able to catch him out. T3 tower, it is going to drop. EXR, they will not lose a Rax yet. They do lose another Tier 3 tower. They do manage to hold high ground, and they won't really have to commit any buybacks either. So not really too much lost here. At least for Boom Esports, they are slowly chipping away at the base of GXR.
Yeah, they've made it awkward for GXR. It's harder for them to jump out. They've got the refresh up in Mikado, and we've seen it multiple times already. Refresh for the fresh set of remnant stacks. It'd be really nice to reposition or just try to burst someone down. Could be a surprise as well for GXR if they're not ready for it. GXR, for their part, it's getting tricky. Like, the 8K gap doesn't feel bad because that's still mainly on the Terrorblade. So it's still all about Dreamocell having that farm. And we have seen Dreamocell in very vulnerable positions. I think for GXR's part, they need to start hunting down the backline. Take care of FBZ first. The Ag Shard, the spell immunity from Press the attack with the Dispel is just way too strong as a counter tool for that TB. And if they can start these fights by killing off the LC first, I think GXR has a much easier time cleaning up the rest of the lineup. For Boom's part, it's just a war of attrition. Just keep all the waves shoved out. Maybe look for the next Roshan here. Keep your farm up into TB. Keep your farm up and even the Ember, as he's not lagging too far behind the Lifestealer. And you guys scale really well with gold. A lot better than GXR would, at least until a certain point. Like, if this game goes super late, let's say level 30s come out, I think the puck gets a second life from just having the rest of the talents up. Rapid fire, phase shift attack can be really nice, and you can kind of consider re-itemizing, let's say right click there, but that's way down the line. I don't think GXR wants to hit that point, even though there is still some opportunities at that point in the game. They'd still want to just look within the next, I don't know, 20 minutes max. It's where you're still super comfy here.
They group up again, Boom. A bit more split up across the map. They're obviously feeling a lot more confident with the amount of farm they've got, and Makoto with that refresher orb now. 10 remnants with the Aghanim Scepter. Arrow is going to connect though. They got Makoto, but it's not going to matter. They won't have the follow-up to it. Again, kind of just backing off, waiting up the next Roshan. Boom, they'll have a quick peek into the Roshan pit, but there's still about 24 seconds till we find out when it does respawn. Still a bit of time. Because Boom would be very happy if it was a very early respawn timer on that new Roshan. We'll find out very soon though. The XR. See, they can't really afford to let it go either. It's going to be a bit problematic if Boom gets another Roach. And it is an early time.
Quick. Really quick. 15 seconds left. A bit of a risky spot for GXR. They just bought out the AC on In Your Dream. He does not have buyback gold. He lacks 800. So if they're going to force this fight, they have to ensure the Lifestealer gets to ride out. Because if he doesn't, that could just be the end of their high ground there. Oh, and this is quite possibly the worst Roach for GXR to have to deal with as well. Ag's blessing up. That could mean a free Terrorize coming out for our Terrorblade. And he's going to have that second Metamorphosis for 10 seconds. So they need to contest this. They're just not quite in the right spot to get there.
Yeah, and Dreamocell, he's going to take it very, very fast. He's even got the Moon Shard. He ate it already. The Roshan pit, it's just not going to last. GXR, they're not around to try and counter this. Terror Wave is indeed going to be the case here for Dreamocell. This Terrorblade is just massive now. You just kind of wonder how In Your Dream and GXR, they're going to be able to try and deal with this. He wears off from Dreamocell at the very least. You don't have to worry about that part.
Radiant's is under attack.
Now, almost certainly going to try for the high ground now. We go. Mana popped. Onto Millie Barracks. The backlines just in case they want to start. Dagon, quite a bit of damage In Your Dream. He'll start the fight, but Dreamocell, he'll stand his ground. In Your Dream needs to back out immediately. It's just not enough quite yet for the Lifestealer. He needs the backup from his team, and Mizu, he'll jump in with the stun. There's Alacrity, there's a big arrow, but to press the attack again, gonna make it too hard to hold down the TB as Alacrity or rather Makoto, he just jumps in by himself. He's clearing them all out. A double kill out for the Ember, and he'll just get the hell out by himself. As the tips are there from FBZ. Makoto, just all over the place. He did pop the refresher orb, and he did use all his remnants for that. but it's opened up the base for Boom Esports. As they're going into the tier 4 towers now. In your dream, he's going to try and get to work. Mizu's there as well. Dream and Soul standing his ground, and there's your duel out FBZ. He catches the big one. The DK in trouble. Finger out. They'll take him down. He'll commit the buyback immediately. There's no dragon form left. How do you fight a melee form? They really force Boom back. Boom, they've got to go for the tier 4 towers. They don't really have a choice. Dream Coil's there. They've got Makoto, but they want the backlines first. Onto the Lion. They've got Hyde. Kescute can't really save him. Dreamer Cell trying to get onto In Your Dream. He will. They've got the Life Stealer. Do they have the damage? In Your Dream, he's going to have to fight back. Makoto in trouble. Has to stand his own ground. He has no remnants left. He might drop, but no, he does make it out. Just in the nick of time. Into the Terrorblade now. Dreamer Cell. Gonna be all right. Does back off. And so GXR, 2 Raxes down, but they are not out of the game yet.
That's just getting really scary coming out from GXR. 2 waves, 2 lanes constantly shoving in. A Terrorblade this big, an Ember this big. They're scaling towards late game is just, it's just not quite there, especially with the way they've itemized here on Alacrity. He's still all magic right now. The Ags is going to be up soon. But if he buys out, he's not going to have buyback. He's a bit far off anyway, regardless whether or not he bought. So at the least, they've got this BKB piercing spell now. They've got some tool for controlling the team fights. You are seeing a bit of an interesting tidbit when they do man fight within your dream, right? Like when he does face off against Dreamocell, it feels like the life healer actually wins out somehow. So I guess that answers that question. The issue is they need to be able to actually kill him. Kill him twice over, so we'll see if they can. They smoke out. They're going outside here.
Wrapping from the backside, Mizu. Oh, they found Makoto. He got the BKB off in time, but he's leashed to the ground. Maybe they can get the damage done in time. Makoto, no, the Sunder. Dreamer Cell gonna save the day, but he gives his own life away. He's lost the Aegis. They dropped the egg yet. Dropped quite Kescute. He'll back out into the Terror Wave now. There's your egg out. They're trying to get the full duration in your dream. He's trying to burst it down, but he's got no help. The sun will be there. The Sunray, the duel out FBZ locks him down. Do they have the damage output? Not quite yet, but they eventually get it. He'll buy back onto Davion. The DK Mizu is going to try and fly over the cliff. In your dream coming back in to try and help out. He could not do so much as to save him, but he will go to work onto FBZ. He'll get the Legion Commander down. It's a 4v3 scenario. In Boom Esports, they want to go high ground again. Still on the backside, Alacrity. Trying to get Makoto, but he is going to survive as Alacrity. He's stuck around. He's going to try and hold out as In Your Dream now. He jumps in with the Empress Dreamer Cell. They're mad fighting again, but they've got him. They've got the TB down onto Makoto now. They've got the Ember as well.
Oh my god!
Oh, they've managed to hold the high ground. The Ancient is exposed though.
That Sunder just killed Dreamocell. He was trying to be a hero. He shouldn't have tried. They lose both of their lives because of that. And it's back to that point. The Lifestealer wins the man fight point. It's overwhelming the amount of lifesteal he has with the Satanic, with his passives. He's just able to just out-sustain the Terrorblade in a direct trade, and it's a costly fight for GXR. They're up against the ropes. No Mega Creeps yet, but Exposed Ancients leaves a lot of possibilities for Boom, but GXR are still fighting. They're still getting new items up. This Arcane Blink on the puck is going to be really helpful, especially that lower cooldown. Imagine more uptime on the Dagon in the middle of the fight, more uptime on the Dream Coil. Divine up and In Your Dream. It just needs to reach out, and we're not seeing what we saw last time when the Divines were coming out. No. In Your Dream is a man of purpose. He's going to use that Divine. He's going to push up.
And he is. He's going to force the buyback right here, right now. And they're going to go for these tier 4 towers if they don't buy back, I think. GXR, 1 Rax will be taken. In Your Dream, do you want to risk it? He's going to try onto the tier 4 towers. Boom Esports, they are holding out. They'll pop the cliff. They do not want to commit these buybacks at the moment. They want to hold out a bit longer. They've got Dreamers off in 10 seconds. Dream Coil's placed. They've got Hyde, but it looks like GXR will just more than happily back out now. At least getting one of the buybacks. And they do get a mid-Rax.
It's good enough for GXR. I think they're happy. They can't really take any other racks. Tier 2 still standing bot, Tier 1 standing top. So they can't quite go for, say, a Mega Creeps trade and kind of force that way. they're in a really awkward spot though. Refresh up on Dreamusol. This is the second life of the Terrorblade. This is where he has insane uptime on back-to-back metamorphosis. It's like 100 seconds if he manages to time that right. Or just joining in after the buyback, he's not going to be completely useless. So GXR have to be cautious about how far forward they go. This is a massive risk with that Divine and In Your Dream. If he's caught out, that could be it.
And the range is exposed, John. I don't think it matters if he gets caught out. The game's over. If In Your Dream dies, he's got 5 minutes without buyback anyway. So he's going to try and get the Abyssal Blade up to have that extra kind of disable. But Boom Esports, it's still their game to lose. They're 13k ahead. They've got 2 Raxes down. They've smoked up. They want to put a little in this game right here, right now. They don't want to risk going any further as tier 5 items are up in about 4 minutes. And that could change everything. Depending on the RNG you get. See what Boom can do. Refresher Orb and Dream Assault. So he's got 2 Terror Waves, he's got 2 Metamorphoses. Arrow does land, so they'll know that they are smoked in the jungle somewhere. Insane game, or series rather, so far between these two. I really don't think Boom want to wait for those tier 5s.
No, I don't think they want to take that risk. It's so weird to say that. They're the ones 2 racks up, right? Like, compared to the 1 racks, they've got their tier 1, their bot under protection, they've got the refresh and the Terrorblade.
Imagine In Your Dream finds like a Giant's Ring or a Fallen Sky. Imagine a Fallen Sky.
Oof.
What are you going to do then?
Oof, that's a nightmare. If those items do come out. It's always RNG at that point, though. And that can... You don't want to leave things up to fate. So, you know, gotta find a way to close this out. Next Roshan, about 47, 46 seconds left. So quick, relatively quick respawn. Boom is in a good spot to just take it. I think GXR, that's where they're kind of falling flat. Their information game just isn't as solid. Although, just poking around each other in these waves.
They are. Roshan 30 seconds away, so Boom could wait that one out. They'll still have time to get the Roshan and try to rush the high ground. Was GXR. I mean, they could decide that they want to try and counter out this Roche. I wouldn't quite blame them. In Your Dream, he's not going to have buyback gold at the moment. And it is still on cooldown anyway, so he buys out the Abyssal Blade now. Roshan, 3 seconds away.
Okay.
Alright, timing with the GXR. They want those supports first. And maybe get off Makoto with the stun. It'd be very nice to get this team fight started, but it's very hard with that Lincoln Sphere and BKB up. Mizu, he's going to see the TB illusion. Dreamer Cell, he's just waiting on the side. Moving in with that Moonlight Shadow. Sentry's down now, they see them, they'll jump in. Dreamer Cell, he's got the Terror Wave down, they're going to blow up Dokam immediately. Mizu will try to go in on the LC. Aeon disc proc, and well, there's another Turblade out. They get the Jewel out now onto Davion. They've got the DK, they'll burst down Mizu. No buyback on that DK. They've even got the Grimstroke now. It's all up to In Your Dream and Alacrity. They've kind of got the Dreamer Cell, but to press the attack, the added attack speed, they've got the control, they've got the damage, and that should be it. It should be all over. Boom Esports. They have successfully forced us to a game number 3 unless we see some magic from Alacrity. But no, he's been caught. There's your Hex out and there's the GG well played. Boom Esports not going out without a fight. We are going to a game number 3.
Oh, what a fantastic game coming out from GXR and Boom. So close. And GXR, they managed to hit their timings perfectly, but they were allowing Dreamusol to just farm up for such a long time. They couldn't really close out the game. They drop a couple of fights, and then it started to get dicey towards that late game, right? Like, their lineup was so geared towards that earlier point, but they held out longer than I think most people would expect. You know, they managed to make this Lifestealer man-fighting that Terrorblade work for a really long time. Like, the damage output coming through was so good, and it's just so good to see these two teams laid out. I can't wait for that game number 3.
It's going to be a spicy game 3. Of course, we are going to head to a break, but right after that break, we'll be back with the panel to discuss what happened in this game number 2.